Back in the piano room, Catherine took a shaky step towards her sister. She wasn't moving at all. Blood dotted the ivory keys. I didn't... It was an accident. Emily? She was overcome with the urge to approach her sister and shake her. What the hell did you do? Make sure she was okay, but it was a nasty fall. Emily? Catherine saw the... Oh, no. Catherine, what did you do? Catherine saw the way her sister's head snapped back as it collided with the sharp corner of the piano. She watched it all like a series of photographs in her head. She had the check on her, but her feet refused to move. Instead, she began to retreat into a corner. She didn't even notice her legs were moving until her forehead touched the wall. She didn't want to turn around. And the fact that I just learned that her father was sick. If this girl dies too, oh no. Is this what led to her doing the deed? Her sister was on the floor. Her eyes were still open, unblinking. It was an accident. It was nothing but an accident. Was it? She pushed first. She got really scary. She got really scary. Just like a... Oh dear. She strangled me. What? That's absurd. Are you sure? Would she do that? And at this point, nothing surprises me. Gizmo don't do that. I don't know. I think she did. Catherine touched her throat. It felt fine. Gizmo, no. That Paris girl, Emily, is it? She really believes just because the Marquis took her in that he's interested in her? Well, she's obsessed with the master. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Wasn't her mother a bit, you know, not right in the head? Oh dear. It probably runs in the family. Emily had looked mad. Her eyes had burned with malice for her as she closed her fingers around Catherine's neck. Wow, okay. I mean, part of me thinks that something Guilleme did or said has factored into Emily acting this way. All of a sudden, it's almost like she's, I don't know, like she's almost under a spell, or this is really weird. But she couldn't remember if that had really happened. Sister was always kind to her. She would never, ever hurt her, even when they got into fights. Sister loved her. Am I turning mad? I have the blood of a mad woman. Am I going to end up like her? I only told her the truth. Oh, that's why she snapped. Guilleme doesn't care for her. Although that's still a pretty really harsh way to retaliate against your sister. In that case, if she really did try to strangle Catherine acted in self-defense wholeheartedly. I was getting a little concerned. I thought that maybe Catherine also had feelings for Guilleme, and that she retaliated badly. Okay. And she doesn't even care for him that much either. It was all just chaff, their relationship. No sense trying to make everyone else miserable too. Wow, but she called me jealous and a cunt. She has never called me a cunt. She has said that they decided to send me away. My lessons sent home. The piano replaced. It was for my own good, she said. I don't have to travel here all the time. Wow. I can concentrate on my other endeavors. I can make new friends. But I know she just doesn't want me near the chateau or Guilleme. Wow, this girl was really strung over, wow, Guilleme really had a hold on her. Very unhealthy. She hates it when I catch her with him. Well, you're a married woman. You shouldn't be flouncing around with some other man. I'm not even going to really get into, like, his reputation in the past, because that doesn't always necessarily... I don't know. It doesn't really always have to factor in. I mean, as long as you know what you're getting yourself into and, you know, you're consenting adults and whatnot, you can make that decision if you want to, but it's one thing if she was single and she was, you know, seeing him or messing around with him, you know, but if you're married, then you don't have any right to be upset that you were caught. You know, you deserve to be caught, and you deserve to be called out for that. Perhaps this morning was the last straw. She hates it, but she also smirks at me when I see them, like she basks in it. I think I might hate her. Catherine's thoughts ran through her head like a storm. They poured out of her aimlessly. I wonder if the piano is... Wow, that's the first thing you think of? If the piano is broken? I mean, I get you need the piano, but your sister's lying on the floor in a heap, with her head cracked open. Am I going to pay for it? What will become of us without sister's weight? Oh, okay. I see. What will become of us without sister's wages? What of father's medicine? What of my dreams? Sister can't be dead. Sister can't be dead. Catherine brought her fingers to her lips and nibbled on her thumb. She didn't notice this. Her mind was preoccupied. She was in her corner of the wall, biting her fingers. It was a tiny comfort in a rapidly collapsing world. Guilleme opened the door and found Emily lying on the floor. An ugly gash broke the skin of her forehead. Facing the wall was Catherine, shivering like a leaf and viciously devouring one of her fingernails. He approached her cautiously. Catherine? Rosa was out of breath, but was still able to let out a gasp at the scene. Emily's lifeless eyes stared up at nothing, while Catherine pressed herself into a corner. What had happened after she had left? Rosa, will you call for help, please? See that someone checks on Emily. Rosa did as she was told, but what she really wanted to do was hug Catherine herself. Guilleme took a small step towards her. He called out her name slowly, coaxingly. Catherine turned her head, her thumb still on her lower lip. The flesh was torn, and a smudge of scarlet painted her teeth. It was an accident, I swear. Of course it was, Catherine. Of course it was. She pushed me first. She wanted me sent away. She wanted me gone. You can tell me about it later. Let me take you away from this room. What have I done? Catherine fell to her knees and wept. Large sobs sucked the air out of her. She felt like drowning, trying to keep herself afloat in between sobs. Every exhale was a squeezing pain in her lungs. She felt Guilleme's arms wrap around her. What have I done? What have I done? You didn't do anything, ma chérie. This is not your fault. There was a bitter bulge building up in her throat, and she felt like no amount of crying could push it back down. What am I going to do? Father is... Sister... I'm so scared. Guilleme's arms wound tighter around her, and she clutched onto his warmth in this vast sea of fear. You don't have to be. I will always be by your side. Catherine, I will take care of you and your father, all right? You don't have to worry about your future. Her tears soaked his Blah. His tears? Nova, what is going on here? Her tears soaked his shirt through, but the squeezing in her chest felt less painful. Why do you do this? Why do you care so much for me? Guilleme's brows furrowed, as if confused that she even asked. I just do. It was a boldly stated fact, as if painfully obvious, as if Catherine was a fool for not knowing it. It made Catherine's heart expand in her ribs. When she looked back, she would recall this as a moment she fell in love with him. The look in his eyes was reassuring and strong. She wasn't alone. She was going to be all right. Let's get you away from here. He supported her arms and stood her up, careful to block the view of her sisters from her eyes. He led her to the door. Catherine hated how fast her relief came. She was still drenched in sorrow at her sister's death. Her father would not take well to the news, especially in his health. But she was all right, and she hated it. Rosa was with her. She didn't have to leave her piano, her dreams, him. Nothing had to change. And most importantly, she hated the voice that came whispering in her head over and over again. Thank goodness she's dead. Thank goodness.